Hello YouTube, this is Golden Email 1 here, and today we're back with another episode of Getting Better. So between the last episode and this one, I have trialed and tested a lot of things. I'm now approaching each game with new key bindings, new tactics, and a new mindset. I changed my key bindings after watching a video by CypherPK and realised that my old ones caused me to make repetitive mistakes. I also decided to change up my tactics in the sense of where I initially dropped and how I rotate to catch enemies off guard. When I talk about having a new mindset, I'm talking about not playing to win, but instead aiming to win every engagement I'm involved with. And at the end of the day, if I win every engagement I'm in, then the victory royale will come. In my previous episode, I only broke down my death and only said the good things about the eliminations I got. But this episode will be different. I'll be using the replay feature throughout to see how I could improve even if I got the elimination. And if you do prefer this format, please let me know by dropping a comment and smashing that like button. So here we are, we've literally just jumped off the party bus and I decided to go to Lazy Links. Now the reason for this is because I know if I go Lazy Links, it's on the edge of the map and therefore most of the enemies, or pretty much all the enemies, will be south of my position. Now, going Lazy Links can be dangerous, so I'm telling myself, do you know what, I need to find a weapon or a chest, and I do find that, and I decide to open up this chest. I get lucky, and I find myself a heavy shotgun, which I will pull out in a matter of seconds, which I do. I then see one enemy run across the swimming pool, and I decide to use the heavy shotgun at range. Now, the reason why I say at range is because the heavy shotgun, one of its advantages is that it's got good damage at range for a shotgun. Had I picked up a pump or a tactical, I would have waited a bit and gotten a bit closer to try deal some good damage on the enemy and get the kill. So I don't see an enemy smashing the roof of this building over here because I see the animation and I can also hear them. So I decided to bring out a boogie bomb and try to get the enemy to dance first. That doesn't happen, but I do land my target and I get the kill straight away. Now I decided to go and loot up that player, and at this stage I'm unaware of anyone else's position. I feel like, you know, this area of the map is safe, but it's really not. I build a wall, I then build stairs. Now why I build stairs, I really have no idea, but I feel like that was just a panic situation. Let me just quickly build something just to make a barrier so I don't take any more damage from this enemy. Now I decide to stay inside because I know that the enemy is on the roof, and now if I go up towards the roof, that automatically means that he has the high ground, I have the low ground, and then he's most likely gonna get the shot on me first. So I decide, okay, let me play to my strength here. How about you come down to me? You come inside. I'm trying to bait him. I'm trying to say break down, do whatever, but try and meet me in here. Again, I build stairs and a roof for, I don't know why I'm doing this, probably just me panicking for no reason whatsoever because I'm completely safe here. No one is coming for me, just that one enemy above me. But then this enemy starts to break the ceiling, so I'm like, okay, maybe I can take advantage of that. Whilst he is occupied doing that, I'm going to dash outside. I'm then going to use the ramp that he's kindly built and then take the high ground position. Now at this stage he realizes, oh, he's coming up to me, but by then it's way too late and I get a clean shot on him, which I really enjoyed doing. What I could have done differently is, whilst he was smashing the ceiling, I could have waited for him. Actually, I'll show you guys here. Whilst he was smashing the ceiling, I could have just waited in a corner, and as soon as he dropped, just blasted him straight away. But either or, I'm quite pleased with myself here because I played to my strengths. I didn't rush into things initially by making sure I stayed inside the building, and I was able to land my shots. So at this stage, I feel like I'm the victor of Lazy Links, so I go around looting comfortably until I get shot at. I decide to build as he's building as well, but I run out of materials. Now, I take a shot with my grenade launcher, and I'm very lucky here, mainly because that angle that I shot at was terrible. If it had hit the roof of him, or if it had just a bit more bounce, or something could have gone wrong for that to bounce back at me, because it very almost did. I know that it was far away, but you guys get the point. Maybe if I was a bit closer, or that wall was a bit closer to me, then that grenade could have bounced and finished me off. Now at this stage here, I'm trying to play to my strengths again by keeping the low ground. I say keeping the low ground mainly because I can't get the high ground, and if I try and push him by flanking him or doing something, I'm exposing myself. So I'm using this cover that I have here, I'm using the stairs, I'm using the walls that I have to try and force him to come down to me, which he does, and I get one clean shot on him. And then after getting that shot on him, he starts to build a miniature 1x1. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? Okay, I'll step back a bit and I'll fire 2 grenades at him, 1 to bring him down and then 1 to get the kill. Now that wasn't my intention at all, but it worked, and I was obviously relieved that it did. But my positioning when I did fire those initial grenades was quite poor, and let me tell you why. I decided to back off a bit, and as I did, this enemy does have a clean oversight of where I'm. Okay, not as clean as I thought. Let's go to gameplay. Yeah, if they had a rifle or a sniper, they could have finished me with 1 or 2 shots. But luckily this player doesn't. I bring the tower down and I take the enemy out with the grenade. So I hear an 80k driving around and I track it down to this position here, just off Loot Lake. So I decide to take an initial shot whilst he can't see me, which I do, and it misses the target. Now I believe that in situations like this, if you're going to take the shot, it needs to land, because if it doesn't, then the enemy would know where you're coming from. You know, a good sniper would not give the chance of the enemy of knowing where the shot came from, because the shot landed. But it doesn't for me, and I decide to push. Now here I believe I made my first mistake. Had the enemy had better aim, then he would have got a lot of clean shots at me. I just rush in like a barbarian, and I'm like, let me just fire these grenades at you just to get lucky, which I do. But in a situation like this, I should have built walls towards my target or ramp rushed him towards my target, which I don't. And by playing on a level ground, anyone can win this fight. Here again, I decide not to build and just to engage my target. Now, I do use a tree as cover, which was my intention, and whilst making this play, I said to myself, let me not overcomplicate things. So I decided not to build and decided to use this tree as cover, and it worked here. I get a few shots off with my SMG, and then I finish it on. Then I finish it off with the shotgun. Now, like I said, I'm slightly disappointed with myself for this decision here, but then again, I decided to use a tree as cover. I guess, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about what cover you can use or what cover you can build. I should have built cover, but then I used the cover of the tree to finish the job. Now, I don't see enemies for quite some time, so I decided to use a rift and I'm scouting out. The reason why I want to see enemies is because if I want to get better, I need to get better at finishing my engagements, winning those engagements. So I'm scouting around and looking, I'm constantly looking, and then I do spot this enemy building stairs up here. So I'm like, okay, is there anybody else around? No, there isn't. And I decide, okay, let's go for it. So here I put myself at a risk here, because if this enemy did see me, they have the high ground on me and they could finish me very quickly. As I move towards that position, I don't double ramp, or rather I don't build ramps above me, but I build ramps away, and then I make a quick turnaround to get my sight on the enemy. Now this enemy doesn't hear me at all, which obviously plays in my favor. So I decide to style on him for some reason. You know, use a shotgun, use a sniper, use pretty much every weapon I had in my inventory, and this could have been done so much more simpler if at this stage here, let's just take this back. At this stage right here, no, right here now, if I had got my hunting rifle, just taken my time just to aim, I would have just cleaned his head and got the kill straight away. The reason why I don't like what I did here was because I'm pretty much telling the whole map, hey, there's a fight going on down here, come and get me. So I'm currently in this position and I'm aware of 3 things. One of them is that I'm outside the zone and I'm going to need to move soon in towards the zone. The second thing is there's an enemy here, and the third thing is there's an enemy here. Now, what's working in my favor is that this enemy is shooting at this one, so those 2 are occupied. Now, I'm trying to take advantage of that fact and trying to see if the enemy is going to peek. But I decide to make my move because he's distracted, so let me get in a bit closer. So as I do, I start to build and say, do you want, let's go for it. So I'm starting to scale up his 1x1, which makes very little progress initially, and then it starts to, pick up some pace, and I get some sight on him, but I miss my shot. But here, I really could have landed a clean shot on him. Maybe if I had better sight of where he came from or what he was doing, I could have done something a lot better, but the exact opposite happens and he gets a clean shot at me. So my first mistake is here. My scaling of this 1x1 isn't clean at all. And this is something I will practice later on in playgrounds. Now I then start to see where he's coming from. I know he's below me, and I know that I'm going to need to get closer to him, or he's probably going to need to get closer to me. Either way, I really want this kill. So I decide to build another ramp higher, but then he makes a smart play by going underneath the ramp he built, and at this stage I'm not sure where he could be. He could have edited into this 1x1, he could have edited down. So I then go down the ramp, I turn in a completely wrong direction, he's got his eyes on me, and bang, he takes a good portion of my health away, which then puts us on equal level in terms of health. And that makes me very scared. I'm running scared, and I decide, okay, no, let's just get down here and let's just hide. So my mistake wasn't just that scaling up of the 1x1 and my poor aim, but also my decision to jump off this high ground. Why I did that, I have no idea, but I could have just stayed in this position here. If I had just built some walls around me to protect me from any fire that could have come from this player or from the player down here, I could have just stayed here and waited for him to make the play. If he was going to reclaim his 1x1, I would have got a clean swipe on him, or rather a clean shot on him, because I had the high ground. But I don't do that, I just jump off it, and that's another thing I need to stop doing, is giving up my high ground for no reason whatsoever. If I'm going to build high ground, I might as well maintain it and just hold on to it. But for some reason, I don't do that. But hey, that's what this series is for, looking over my gameplay and seeing the ways I can improve to eventually become a better player. So then quite a lot of time passes and I'm just camping in this position because I'm afraid, mainly because my health is very small and I don't want to make a move. I know he's above me because I can still hear the footsteps in this whole structure. So I had the low ground for a fact. He has a high ground. I don't want to run out into the open because I could get sniped by this player or by this player over here. So the zone starts moving. I'm like, okay, I best get out of here straight away. And I just don't know what was going on with me here, but I make a beeline straight away for this house. Now, what I could have done was, first of all, moved a lot more earlier. Second of all, I could have scouted my position before I moved, so scouted everywhere pretty much. So I could have looked left and right just to check if there was maybe a base over here. Okay, so there's a base over here, so I need to be careful of that position. There's also one just over there, so I need to be careful in that position as well. Now, you may be thinking, well, how could you have known where the enemy was coming from? But that's the thing. I need to get used to almost predicting where enemies are. And I'm also displeased with myself with the fact that as I was running, I wasn't looking around. I was just running in a straight line like a complete total noob, just running in a straight line. I should have built a wall, I should have built stairs, I could have built something, but if I wasn't going to build anything, I should have been looking around just in case, and that is the end of that. So in my opinion, I feel like there's two things I need to take away from this match. First of all, I need to make sure I have enough materials to deal with situations early game, and I feel like I need to have at least 200 to 300 materials, whether it's wood, metal or brick, just so that I have basic structures to get myself out of sticky situations and also make offensive plays. And the second thing is I need to get better at building up 1x1s and making that offensive play. But that'll be it for today's episode of Getting Better. But most importantly, if you guys have any suggestions on what I need to get better at, or if you have any tips or tricks or any pieces of advice, then please leave them in the comments section down below. But if you have enjoyed today's episode of Getting Better, don't forget to smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe to receive some more golden quality content. But nonetheless guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.